All right, what's poppin', world? Back at it again with another video for y'all. Uh, I know the audio is shitty, but y'all gotta bear with me. My mic on my phone only picks up one side, so in order to hear both sides of the audio, you feel me? I use my Bluetooth headphones. So without further ado, let me go ahead and explain to y'all as far as you know. And I know, just a disclaimer, everybody's trucking journey is different. You feel me? Everybody has a different experience. Everybody got a different story to tell. So I'm just gonna go ahead and explain just my background, um, just maybe a brief summary what kind of got me into it, and also just a summary of just everything that led up to where I'm at right now, right? So a lot of ups, a lot of downs, but let's get into it. Story time. So go ahead, get your snacks, popcorn. Let's get it in. So, what had got me into trucking was, I was already doing a driving job, delivery job. I did FedEx, I did Amazon Prime, and just driving for long durations of time kind of built up the muscle memory to where I was like, all right, I already drive for living. I'm already kind of behind the wheel, for a long duration of time. Why not maximize, this occupation, go for the gusto, right? So, took me a minute, a lot of different hurdles. Mind you, I'm residing over on the West Coast, so the opportunities as far as getting your CDL, yeah, they got grants, so on and so forth. But if you're not coming through a specific situation that would aid you to get into CDL school, and you're kind of doing things kind of like the clean cut way, you're gonna have to come out of pocket. There's just no other way around it. You're gonna either have to come out of pocket, or you're just gonna have to just hop on with one of these mega carriers, sign a contract, and knock out your school. You feel me, over the road, do your year or whatever, and get you a local job or whatever, right? So with that being said, I paid out of pocket 2,200, um, to get into my school. Uh, did the whole permit thing where, once you got your driver's license, you go into the DMV. Mind you, by the way, you got to download CDL Prep. Highly recommend it. Best CDL, study guide as far as passing them DMV tests that I would recommend. Just because it didn't take me a long duration of time to be able to be prepared for it. So, with that being said, that's my plug on that. But once you get past the three, stages of solidifying your permit, which is general knowledge, combinations, air brakes, you feel me? Tests aren't really hard. It's really what you make them out to be. You only get three shots per test before you're gonna have to start waiting like 30 days, so on and so forth. But with that aside, I digress. It won't take long if you're really serious about it, right? So once you get into the school is only gonna really help you to pass state-wise. They're not gonna literally teach you the nature of how to drive. When it comes down to actually operating a truck to its full maximum capacity to where you're able to drive on your own, right? So coupling, uncoupling, a lot of these terms that I might be mentioning, especially if you're either inexperienced or you're just in the infancy stage where you're just gathering information before you take that leap, I advise you to do your due diligence because, like I said, you get on this internet, you get on YouTube and people say, "Oh, trucking sucks." Oh, you get other people, "Trucking is amazing." So do your own due diligence, do your own research, do whatever is the best, you know, um, process for you, and don't try to chase other people's success just because it worked out for them. You may not have be afforded the same opportunities, and you got to just take your journey the way it comes. You feel me? You can't quantify it by what somebody else did or what they're going to do, right? So, with that being said, right. So after I got out of CDL school, I got my actual CDL. The number one thing I would advise before you get on a company, because once you get your CDL and you find your solidified company, once you start making a certain kind of money to get your endorsements, there's going to be really no incentive to get them because the situation that you're currently in isn't demanding for you to get these endorsements, right? So there's people that have been in trucking 10, 20, 35 years, never thought about getting their endorsements just because of, they're either doing long haul or flatbed or dry van or reefer, all these specific, fields of trucking that doesn't require, these specialized, endorsements to be able to, make good money, you know? So reason why I tell you to go ahead and do your due diligence to get these endorsements is because if you want to separate yourself and be more to where your skill set is on a higher demand, right? You want to be more specialized so that way your skill set is set apart from the general pool of people that have experience, inexperience. You're just becoming more qualified. And I suggest anybody do that in any field of work, not just trucking, right? So got all my endorsements. Then I found the company. Uh, those that are trucking right now and done their due diligence. I'm not gonna name drop them, but if you listen close enough, you can kind of tell what kind of company I'm rocking with right now, right? So end up finding a company, end up getting this dedicated route. Um, and I'm on a dedicated route, but I had to go out to Phoenix for training, right? 3 week orientation. Now, what they don't tell you on the application, once you solidify your job and your position with the recruiter over the phone, they're not going to tell you once you get out there and you didn't sit up there, you didn't quit your job and you didn't uprooted, your lifestyle and you take your either your plane out there or your rental out there. Um, it's still an interview process. You don't have the job. Um, Meaning that if you don't perform, there's a chance that you might get sent home, due to the fact that they feel like you can't pick up the information fast enough in order for you to be able to for them to trust you with their equipment. Let's just keep it on, right? They don't feel like you're safe enough to drive on the road with their equipment. You're too much of a liability, right? But I will say that they don't give you a lot of time to work on a lot of things that they're presenting to you because once you're in training, everything that you learn from CDL school, once you go onto like a mega carrier or any kind of company, they're gonna retrain you. You got to unlearn and relearn the whole process of actually certifying you through their company as far as regarding yourself as a CDL driver, right? So you're gonna have to do pre-trip differently. Air brakes is pretty much the same. Your skills definitely are going to be dramatically different because some companies, some schools, only use cones. When you get on with an actual company and not a school, they're going to teach you how to park behind trailers, couple uncouple, detaching and reattaching the trailer, so on and so forth, knowing how to use the landing gear and tandems and things of that nature. And I say all that to say is that none of this stuff is really like hard. It's not rocket science. It's just more so of paying attention, taking notes, and most importantly, taking it serious, right? Because when you're in a class, and it's just like any class of any, it's kind of like in high school, right? You got the people that are, the class clowns, and people that will take the class serious. Some people that don't take the class serious, not doing their due diligence. And when it comes down to the final exam, you're being tested on everything of that curriculum. And you can tell who's been taking this course serious or not since the very beginning, right? And that's pretty much what that process is in the orientation. It's just to assess if you're even capable to secure your position, right? So once you get done with your evaluation, right, then the third week you go out with a trainer and you got 5 days on the job training, meaning you're gonna be driving for long durations of time. Having to drive the speed limit because you can't get out on that road and be intimidated by driving by people, driving next to people, driving behind people, um, looking at road signs, knowing how to build up the endurance to drive two, three, 4, 5, 6 hours straight with no breaks. Um, it's really demanding, right? And it all comes down to your mental fortitude. If you have a strong mindset, and it's bigger than a strong mindset as well, it's being adaptive to a whole new lifestyle. Because outside of most occupations, unless you're like a pilot, or a traveling nurse or a flight attendant, something like that is requiring you to go to state, on a frequent basis, um, it always feels like the ground up under you is always moving, and you just have to have the wherewithal and the insight to be able to not allow the elements or your surroundings to mess up. You know, if home is up here, you can be anywhere and you'll be good, right? Um, so with that being said, uh, so I passed my orientation and they take me from student into driver. Now I'm a driver. Now we're at the point to where I'm at right now, right? So I go from Phoenix, I catch a flight to uh Cali. I spent 1 week in Cali, spent 2 weeks in Phoenix. I got flew back to Vegas, and now that they're coordinating me to work in Utah, because Utah is like my distribution center. It's kind of like where they got me district at, right? Um, so I finally get a hold of the person because I was off for like 5, 6 days, right? Waiting on a phone call for them to coordinate me to go pick up my truck, things of that nature. And once I finally got the call, there was an email that I got or that I was supposed to get after the call, after the Uber got booked, after the rental got booked. The email never came, so I was supposed to go pick up my truck on Friday. Nah, not Friday, Saturday. I got the call on Thursday. I tried to get back in contact with the person on Friday. Wasn't able to get a hold of nobody, right? Or at least that specific person that had called me. I had to call everybody else across the nation to pretty much pick up the information that was left for me when I originally had discussed this whole plan of picking up the truck, getting the trailer attached, driving to the next city within that next state, because right now I'm in Salt Lake City. Drop the trailer off, go into the facility, go get my truck maintenance, get another load, drive it back to the original place I just came from, and then get on boarded and uh get on boarded and get my schedule and then drive back to Vegas. Now it was a 4 hour delay as far as me getting this rental car because for one, I had to figure out was the rental available, where what rental I was supposed to get. I called the Uber up, it dropped me off at the rental place right next to the airport. Comes to find out they end up booking me a rental that I had an outstanding balance on a personal vehicle that I had rented out 5 years ago, possibly 5, 4 years ago. But they didn't want to give it to me though. It was my company paying for it. So they had to book another rental for me to then drive out to St. George, drop off the car at the airport. Then they were going to send me a Uber to the truck. Then from where I got the truck at, which was parked on the side of the road, pull up into the distribution center. Then when I got to the distribution center, I go up to the security guard. I'm like, hey, I'm here to pick up an empty. Oh, well, I didn't hear about that. I don't know. And I'm like, this is my first day. I'm in the middle of the night. Uh, I'm sitting up there thinking like, all right, despite me driving 2 hours to get here, I have to drive an another additional 5 hours and 40 minutes in the CDL truck at night by myself, no trainer, to be able to drop off the load. And the security guard telling me that I can't pick up the load, right? So I hit him with some reverse psychology because I was gonna sit up there and match dude energy. I was like, all right, well, I'll go ahead and call some people and I'll see what's going on. He's like, oh no, no, that's all right. I'll make the call. So I set up in the truck. he got it worked out to where he thought I was talking about that specific dedicated routes empties instead of the empties that go for the mega carrier that I'm associated with. So once we got that resolved, I went into the yard, hooked up to the back of it, and I just want to tell y'all this, right? In training, they're gonna give you these papers, right? The papers are step by step, and it's all about paying attention. This is what you're going. If you want to get out of orientation, right? And I'm not sure how other orientations is, but I'm pretty sure they're similar. Don't try to be smart. Don't try to be intelligent. Don't try to be educated. Don't try to sit up there and memorize nothing. They literally give you the answers. The best thing you can do is do everything that the paper tells you step by step. Don't read fast. Just read it line by line and then perform it. It says do this, perform. Do that, perform. Don't read, do this, and then you're doing perform, perform, perform. You're gonna skipping steps, you're gonna reading too fast. And if they see that you're not doing stuff safely, they're probably not gonna rock with you. But with all that being said and all that, it's been a great experience. From the Ubers, the hotels, the flights. What else am I missing? Ubers, hotels, flights, and rentals. Um, yeah, they done rolled out the red carpets for you boys. So, uh, anybody interested in trucking and things of that nature, especially if it's gonna be like over the road, or dedicated, or regional, highly recommend it. So, I'll do another follow-up video. Comment, like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll catch up with you on the next.